And that's how I lost my last home to a raccoon.
I thought you were going to say that's how you lost your virginity. Hey, I'm Llytic.
I'm Tom.
And I still have my virginity, and everyone knows that.
Oh, so you didn't fuck the raccoon. Got it.
No. I mean, it fucked me in the non-literal sense, because it kicked me out of my house.
Well then.
I guess fire wasn't
That
an
seems
option.
unfortunate.
Too poor to fire.
Oh, God. Oh, I tasted vomit on that one.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Oh, there's chunks. Anyway.
I didn't even know.
Anyway. We are continuing the Spooptober Pastathon with 2017's top series on the Reddit subreddit r/nosleep, which is supposed to be a subreddit devoted to scary stories that people post. And being as it has received that award, we can only hope that it actually is good and that I can actually speak English.
Yay.
The reason we didn't start this earlier this week is because Tom bitched out.
I did not. I work. I need money. Thank you.
We all know it's because you were too scared.
Too scared to lose his house like I did to a raccoon.
I don't have to prove anything to either of you.
No, but you probably should.
No, not really.
Well, shall we get this started then?
I've seen films that would eat you and spit you out.
What? That's not the start of the thing, Tom. Come on.
What?
What? Did I say Tom? God damn it.
Yes. Tales from the gas station. Also, I don't know how many parts this is going to be. Episode-wise.
Okay.
At the edge of our town, there's a shitty gas station that's open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you were to go inside, you'd see row after row of off-brand chips, cookies, potted meats, and pickled curiosities. Expiration dates suspiciously missing from the canned goods, like they were filed off years ago in some misguided attempt to control inventory turnover. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, that sounds like any gas station.
Yeah, safe. No, that definitely sounds like Love's.
Love's are pretty nice, the ones I've been to anyway. For a gas station.
A faded wet floor sign from way back covers a large crack in the foundation by the cooler where layers of sticky spill-off have formed a miniature tar pit, preserving countless insect corpses and the occasional small rodent.
Sounds like black pudding.
Sounds like every gas station I've ever been to.
Yeah, about. Nobody ever complains about the aesthetic. By some providence bordering on the supernatural, the health inspector has repeatedly signed off on the business, always kindly ignoring the faint smell of some kind of mysterious chemical cocktail that is the defining characteristic of the establishment. More noticeable than the steady mechanical hum of the frozen drink machine that was installed in the 70s and never once serviced, more distracting than the random pockets of cold and warm air that seem to follow you around, and more annoying than the family of mutated raccoons that lives in the crawl space behind the grease trap.
Yeah, this definitely sounds like most gas stations I've been to.
We think they're mutated anyway. At the very least, they must be inbred to the point of genetic deformity and mental retardation. The alpha, a muscular 3-foot-tall son of a bitch named Rocco, has been spotted multiple times chewing on people's tires and has been run over at least twice, but keeps coming back.
Hey, that reminds me of a cat I once knew.
Oh, Jesus. That weirdly reminds me of the majority of Chihuahuas, but larger.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm pretty sure if a Chihuahua gets run over, that bitch ain't getting back up.
Well, no, it's weird. Like, you end up finding, like, those people that have just had, like, a family Chihuahua. It's like, yeah, the thing's been run over 3 times. You can see its jaws, like, crooked.
Chihuahuas are... I'm not going to say tough. I'm just going to say they're survivors.
That lingering smell, a sweet combination of honeysuckle, ammonia, and vomit, has never been positively identified. But the prevalent theory is that it's coming from underground, wafting up through the thin fissures in the concrete that grow and spread with each year of architectural settling. It's strongest right after a rain and pungent to the point of tear-inducing if you get too close to the storm drains where even Rocco and his clan refuse to tread.
If you were to go inside, you might also see the bathroom cowboy. He's sort of an urban legend around here.
He wears nothing but a hat.
Only ever appearing when you're alone and unsuspecting. What makes him truly legendary are the stories people tell after an alleged encounter. The accounts run the gamut from pretty weird to impossibly bizarre. You know, the more it's being described, the more it sounds like he's wearing only a cowboy hat.
It's noon.
like the guy last month who went for a pee but changed his mind when he saw him standing there next to the urinal, wearing a duster, bandana, boots, and chaps, handing out balloon animals.
But no jeans under the chaps.
What's this dude doing handing balloon animals out?
I don't know. He's the bathroom cowboy.
Oh, boy.
Also should point out that unlike most times, I am completely blind as to what's going to happen here.
Oh, so we're all in the dark on this one. Okay.
Well, quite literally in my case right now.
Or a couple weeks later, when another customer stepped into the same bathroom to see a man wearing nothing but a cowboy hat, boxers, and boots with spurs, literally grinding an axe on an old-fashioned stone sharpening wheel.
What?
When he entered, the cowboy stopped what he was doing, looked up with a smile and a tip of the hat, said, "Come on, man, come on with it."
What?
Come on with it. Are you okay, Llytic?
That mental image. Just imagine walking into a bathroom and seeing that.
Come
on, man. Come on with it. Howdy. How you doing, partner?
Howdy, partner.
Oh, God.
Care to join me?
If you should be lucky enough to see the cowboy that may or may not haunt the bathroom, don't worry. He's harmless and, in fact, usually quite polite. Honestly, he doesn't seem so bad, especially compared to some of the other things going on in that place.
I want to be this man's friend.
I want to be this ghost cowboy's friend.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Well, aren't you mean?
Hey, there's nothing more homoerotic than cowboys.
I mean, that's not the reason I wanted to be friends with him, but
well, you're being friends for the wrong reason.
To each their own. Not going to judge. When you go inside, you might instantly get a toothache. That's a strangely common phenomenon that nobody really understands. It should go away on its own after a couple hours. Ugh, that wouldn't be fun.
I'm the ghost of a dentist.
You didn't come in for your root canal.
It hurts because you don't floss.
If you do go inside, you will almost definitely see me sitting behind the counter because I'm the only full-time employee and I'm almost always here. You may catch me reading a book because, for some reason, the internet doesn't work way out here, and cell phone service is dicey on good days and non-existent on most. If you need to make a call, you can leave and go up the hill a ways. Preferably back towards town because the other way will take you into the woods and you don't want me to go into all the reasons not. Fuck.
Okay, what is it with you and making things incomprehensible?
I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm reading with one eye closed.
Read with both eyes open.
Or both eyes shut. That also works.
Read with your eyes wide shut. Eyes wide shut.
If you need to make a call, you could leave. You go up the hills a ways, preferably back towards town because the other way will take you into the woods and you don't even want me to go into all the reasons that that's not a good idea. Or you could pay me 25 cents a minute and use the store's landline. That arrangement was cooked up by the owners and I have to actually enforce it because they do check the phone records. I'm sorry.
That actually does seem like something an employee would say.
Yeah, it does actually. And he may or may not be genuine based on how he's feeling.
This is like the exact opposite of those other creepypastas we read in which people didn't talk like people. This person talks like people.
Yeah, he sounds like a normal person. I wouldn't mind getting to know him. Maybe he knows some good books.
Well, you're don't be offended if I strike up a conversation because if I'm being completely honest, I don't always know for sure if everyone who comes through those doors is real or not. And if I had to acknowledge if I don't strike up a conversation, and if I had to acknowledge that, if I had to acknowledge everyone in that place, if I had to acknowledge everyone in that place that could be an actual person, I might lose my mind. And we don't need any more of that going around here.
I guess that the point I'm trying to make is this. Weird things happen to me working at the shitty gas station at the edge of town.
Wow, that was really short.
Yeah.
Yes.
I wish
Yours
I
is
could
short
tell
too.
you the weirdest thing that's ever happened, but I doubt I could ever decide. There was just too many.
I've seen a total of 4 coffins inside the store on 3 different occasions.
Wait, one. So there's 2 coffins in there at one point at the same time.
Apparently.
Yeah, I guess so. I've met at least a dozen people wandering back into town from claiming they had escaped aliens or government conspirators or the like, and that they had no money but needed to make a call, and could I please just let them use our store phone before they find them again. But rules are rules, and I'm not inclined to lose my job just because you didn't escape captivity with a little pocket change. That's a little
The
coward.
aliens took all my money.
Oh, the next line, Zane.
Zane.
And then
And then, of course, there was Farmer Brown. Yeah, that's his real name. Who got mad at us and complained about the bulk feed we'd been ordering for him. He insisted something was wrong with his product because, as he put it, all of his animals suddenly had human faces.
Oh god, it's the plot of Jinman.
We settled with him by charging a significant discount on his next couple purchases. He stopped coming in at not long after, and they found what was left of his body inside a bedroom at his farmhouse that had been locked from the inside. As far as I know, they still haven't figured that one out.
Anyway, I guess I could come back and tell a story or two, but first I need to get ready for work. On to part 2.
Not gonna lie, I'm actually enjoying this a little bit.
I like the top comment. Man, 24 hours, 7 days a week, and the only full-time employee? No offense, but are you sure you're even real?
He's probably
Alright.
not.
Are any of us real, partner?
What is that? This is life's greatest mystery.
Thank you for that insight, bathroom cowboy.
You're welcome, partner. Want a balloon animal?
Yes, I'd like a dog.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Here's a mastiff.
Yes. At the edge of our town, there's
You can have a giraffe, Zane.
Aw. Perfect to shove up my ass. What?
Okay.
Oh, I was
Do
still
I
alive
get
when I
anything?
said that. Just ignore it.
I think you've been hanging around Llytic a little too much, man.
I don't shove things up people's asses unless they ask for it.
Whoa, we're getting into some heavily implied territory.
Right.
I'm gonna read the next line then.
Joel the Jackhammer Smith.
Oh no.
Anyway,
At the edge of our town, there's a shitty gas station that's open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and sometimes longer. If you were to go inside, you would probably see the tired cashier sitting behind the front desk doing his best to mind his own business. He's real. You may also see someone else. You may also see something else. If you're curious about the reality of anyone or anything, including yourself, inside that small ammonia-scented flickering fluorescent collection of off-brand junk food, dirt, 4 walls, and a roof, may I recommend that you follow the cashier's lead and mind your own business?
shit.
I've been working at the gas station since almost nonstop since I graduated high school, and at this point I doubt I could quit if I wanted to. Not long ago, a doctor recommended that I start keeping a journal, and after some consideration, I decided I might as well give it a shot. Sorry, those were the gas station chips. It's not like any of the traditional treatments are having any effect. But enough about me. Let's get back to the interesting thing, the gas station.
I spent a decent portion of my shift last night trying to decide how to begin this journal. Where can I start that would make any sense at all? How do I explain the gas station to someone who hasn't experienced it?
I've tried selling some of my stories before, so I know what to expect. People don't believe it, or people don't want to believe it. I still remember the difficulty I had last year when I had to call the sheriff's station and explain to the new girl that half of a pig had broken into the store and was running amok, breaking things and screaming with the voice of an old woman.
Yes,
Oh.
I meant half of a pig.
Yes, a pig.
The front half.
No, this isn't the joke. I'm at the gas station.
What do you mean, which gas station? Is this your first day or something?
Oh, it is? In that case, can I please talk to someone else?
She finally put me through to Tom. Tom, do you know about this gas station?
Maybe?
He's
Maybe
the
that's
deputy that
past
drew the
me or
short
future
straw all
me?
those years ago and ended up on the official gas station duty.
Oh, he's
Tom's
a
a
deputy.
sheriff.
No, he's a deputy.
That's probably
He's a
future
deputy.
me.
The sheriff got shot, the deputy didn't.
That's probably future me.
Musical reference.
I got the reference. I shot the sheriff.
Jane probably didn't.
I shot the sheriff, but I didn't shoot no deputies. It's a good song.
That was back before his hair had turned all white. He's been in it. He's been in enough times now that all I have to say is when he picks up the line is it's half a pig and it won't stop screaming and I can't catch it. And then he grunts, mutters something about that being pretty freaking weird, and then drives out to help me catch it. Tom's a good guy.
It kind of sounds like me, except for the good guy part, question mark? I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway. Now, if it said he's a cringe guy.
Nah, if it says he's a great guy.
Oh, thank you, Zane.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah.
I asked around, but nobody knew where the pig had come from. Farmer Brown, who was still alive at this time, came down to take a look and provide his expert opinion. According to Farmer, the pig had somehow been chopped down the middle. Wait, which middle? That's what I'm wondering. Is it left half, right half, front half, back half?
I'm guessing from the screaming.
It has some part of the front.
It has some part of the front, and it sounds like an old woman.
Yeah.
But miraculously, none of the important organs were hit. Nothing supernatural about it, just really unusual. It stayed at the local elementary school as a kind of mascot for the summer before a scientist at his team from somewhere up north offered the school $1,000 to let them take it. For science, I suppose.
Damn Yankees.
Hey, that term has been applied to 2 different winning teams and is yet to be applied to the losers.
Yeah, I know. You have a point there.
Really using it as an insult is kind of fucking stupid.
I didn't mean it as an insult. It's just, people up north I
Unless
call
you're talking about the band.
Huh, didn't know there was a band.
Yeah, there's a band called Damn Yankees.
Oh, that's funny. I might have to look them up just because
it's like an 80s rock band or some shit.
I'll have to look it up just because I'm interested now. I don't mean to ramble, but my point is that it's hard to believe some of these stories if you haven't been inside the gas station at least once. And maybe you have. We're the only gas station for miles. We're close enough to some big crossroads. If you've ever been out driving in an unfamiliar part of the country and found yourself lost, it's not impossible that you could have found yourself at my doors, looking to top off your gas or ask for directions. If you have a strange memory of a weird place that somehow doesn't seem to fit, then there's a chance we have actually met.
I mean, I have a lot of strange memories of weird places that don't seem to fit, but...
Are they gas stations?
No, most of them are before I popped up here.
Exactly. This is about gas stations.
Those were out in the middle of Paradox Space.
I mean, there are...
As the name implies, it's paradoxical.
Yeah.
Great response. Anyways,
Your line, Zane.
It was late into the night. It was late into my overnight shift. I decided to just start writing. I took notes about what was happening. I jotted down a few of my stranger memories, but consciously decided to leave out those memories that were so unbelievable that I won't even waste people's time with them. I call this the try and forget stories. I was writing it down on a book of receipt paper when Carlos interrupted me.
Carlos is one of the part-timers at the gas station. We have a pretty long list of part-time employees here. The owners like to hire transients, drifters, hitchhikers, passerbys, and runaways looking for work for a few days. I try not to get to know the part-timers. They come and go after a few days or sometimes a few weeks, rarely long enough to form any kind of meaningful relationship.
But then there's Carlos, who's been working here for almost a year now. He started as part of the prison work relief program, unloading trucks twice a week, and was the only one of the 12 prisoners that didn't disappear during a freak snowstorm last December, but that's none of my business.
Oh my god!
Carlos did his time, and when they released him, he came to work here, cleaning out the store and unloading trucks. Well, good for him. He's getting a new start.
What happened to the other prisoners, though?
They probably died. He comes in 6 times a day for each of his 30-minute shifts. Now that I think about it, I'm not exactly sure what he does during those shifts. The store is never clean, and trucks only come twice a week, exclusively during the daylight hours, as per an arrangement following the incident. Maybe one day I'll ask Carlos what he does for the owners. All I know is that he's the closest thing to a friend that I have here. I'm starting to feel kind of bad for this guy, honestly.
Yeah, he just got out of high school and now he's stuck in the world's weirdest gas station.
Well, he's been out of high school for a few years at least.
Yeah, he hasn't even gone to college.
But his life
This
sounds...
is how he's putting himself through college.
But his life sounds lonely, and not the good kind either.
When Carlos approached me at my register last night, I knew something unusual was going on. He was sweating bullets, pale, and on the verge of passing out. He kept glancing back at a man in the suit that had wandered into the store and was standing next to the frozen drink machine. He told me that we need to talk. Now.
I told him, go ahead, but he refused to say anything unless I followed him into the freezer.
I usually hate to leave the front of the store unwatched. We have the occasional shoplift. Plus, there was that one time Rocco got in and made off with 2 cases of cigarettes. But Carlos seemed serious, so I made an exception.
Once we were in the sub-freezing safety of the walk-in cooler, Carlos asked me if I had seen the guy in the suit. I said yes, I saw him. He asked if I knew the guy. I said yes, I'd seen the guy around town. His name is Kiefer. Kiefer. Oh, it's Kiefer. He was running for some kind of office. Can't remember which one. And stopped by the gas station every now and again. He drove an old black SUV.
Why did this turn into a bad Irish accent?
I didn't know him much from in town, but he was definitely local. His picture was framed in my high school accent. One of those sports competitions he had won years and years before I got there. We really had so many things to be proud of, I suppose. I knew Kiefer, but we weren't exactly acquaintances. I told all this to Carlos, who shook his head and said, no, that can't be Kiefer.
You pronounced that like 5 different times and went into one of the worst accents I've ever heard. What the fuck just happened?
Everything.
I said, why not?
And Carlos told me, that can't be Kiefer because Kiefer has been dead for 2 days. His body's in the trunk of my car right now.
Oh fuck, Zane died. Would you pay attention for 5 seconds?
Restarting. That's where things start to get weird?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Fuck is wrong with you?
Llytic, it sounded like you just did a head desk.
No, I did a face palm.
Okay.
It's just that I needed about enough force to concave my fucking forehead.
To make it pick up on the mic?
No, just to make it fit with what the fuck just happened.
Apparently Kiefer's dead and is in the trunk of Carlos's car.
No, I'm just talking about Zane.
Oh. Well, I mean, you should expect that from him by now.
Yeah, he never pays attention.
Yep.
It was a very strange night. Between the hand plants, Farmer Jr., and that cultist that wouldn't leave me alone, I hardly had any time to collect my thoughts. And of course, there was the Carlos oh, wait, shit.
And of course, there was the Carlos situation.
Promise I'll come back and tell you all about it, but first I need to grab some coffee.
Soldiering on.
I really debated just being silent for like a good 5 minutes there, just waiting.
That would have been hilarious.
Oh god. Let's see. There are times when this world drifts so close to the fabric of reality that I can hear something calling me from beyond that veil. Sometimes when I get too close, I can feel that thing on the other side tugging at the corners of my mind.
I'm worried about Carlos. He doesn't seem to be taking this so well.
In case you don't know, I worked at all the shitty gas stations at the edge of our small town.
At the shitty gas station!
I worked at the shitty gas station at the edge of our small town.
What the fuck?
And weird things have been happening for as long as I've been here. I finally started to tell some of my story, and if you haven't caught up yet, I would like to invite you to read part 1 and part 2. Please.
And the links are there.
Yes, I think that would be pretty obvious. When I returned to work after my post yesterday, I was delighted to find a stack of receipt paper sitting neatly on the register counter with notes written in my own shaky handwriting. I don't remember writing all of these notes. But then again, I don't remember a lot of things. It is possible that I'm working too hard, or maybe the fumes coming from beneath the gas station are playing tricks on me, or perhaps it's just another side effect of my condition. At any rate, I'm not one to look a gift horse in the mouth, or any animal in any other orifice for that matter.
Admittedly, my handwriting... I'm sorry. Admittedly, my handwriting isn't the best, and at times the scratches on the receipt paper became nearly illegible. So if anything herein seems unbelievable, it's probably because I copied it wrong. With that in mind, this is my best effort at a transcription.
7 o'clock. It's getting dark earlier these days.
7:30. Farmer Jr. came into the gas station tonight asking about the hand plants. I told him they weren't there anymore. He left his phone number scribbled on the back of a coupon for 15% off bulk pig feed from an online retailer. I think he's trying to send me a message. Also, hand plants.
So that's how you get a good time when you're alone in the forest.
Well, I mean, if that's probably what you do, Zane.
I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one.
I'm pretty
Especially
sure you
because I don't go outside, so it can't be me.
Well, I'm not into plants.
At least not yet.
I prefer things made of flesh.
Nah, plants are where it's at.
Not chloroform. I mean, chlorophyll. Whoa.
Whoa, I see
that
where
got
you get your flesh.
Anyway, I'm gonna keep reading. 9 o'clock. I think maybe some kids are playing a prank on me. I found a lawn gnome behind the brines. I didn't think much about it and put him in a box behind the counter, but then I found another matching lawn gnome in the soda case. I added this one to the box as well. It wasn't until I noticed the third and fourth lawn gnomes that I started to suspect something. I had taken out the garbage and found gnomes perched atop the branch of a tree next to the dumpster, staring down at me like gargoyles. I used a chair and broom to knock them down, and I put them in the box with the other three. When I got back to my desk, I found a note on my chair written in red ink. It says simply, "I'm in the walls." I don't know who wrote it, but the paper smells like oranges and plumeria.
10 o'clock. There's a strange scratching noise coming from the tiles above the cash register. I fear Rocco and his brood may have infiltrated the building again.
11 o'clock. Farmer Jr. has called the store. He asked about the hand plants. I assured him they weren't here anymore. Weren't there anymore. And if they ever showed up again, I would call him. I think he's beginning to suspect that I'm lying.
12 o'clock. One of the cultist recruits wandered in from the community in the woods. They hate it when I call them cultists. I know the recruits aren't supposed to interact with the outside world, but from time to time they will sneak into town, never any further than this gas station, and buy cigarettes. They aren't supposed to try and recruit new members until they graduate to the honorable senior cultist status, but this one isn't a very good cultist. I know they aren't supposed to have names, but I'm going to call this one Marlboro. I'll let you guess why.
Marlboro stayed in the store for at least half an hour trying to convince me to go back to the compound with him. They hate it when I call their home a compound. He tried to appeal to my logical side, but I let him know politely but firmly that I was not interested in logic. I can't remember when he left.
Yeah.
2 o'clock. I found myself digging again. Sometimes, on slow nights, I let myself drift. My mind goes somewhere, and when I come to, I wonder, where was I just now, and who was controlling my body while I was gone?
My body did those things I've done so many times before that I guess it's learned how to do them without me. My body restocked the cigarettes, my body rotated the frozen drink machine, my body scraped the mold off the bottoms of the ice buckets, my body emptied the rat traps, and somewhere along the way my body found a shovel, went out back, and started digging a hole.
Jesus!
Actually, I shouldn't say my body started digging. I have been, or rather, my body has been digging this hole off and on for the last few months. Usually I come to after a few shovelfuls. This time I added another foot deep before I snapped back to reality and asked myself, what the hell am I doing?
He's
Digging
probably digging
a
a
hole
hole to China.
Nah, I think it's to hide a body. Or maybe to unearth some ancient god.
No, he's helping Carlos hide the body.
Oh god.
Wait,
Helping hide Kiefer?
You unearthed an ancient god, Llytic?
Well, yeah.
Oh, yeah, your shovel kind. That's it.
I mean, don't forget, there's still that fucking Queen of the Snakes somewhere in Texas. 3:30. I just noticed the door at the end of the hallway past the walk-in cooler. How long have I worked here and not noticed that door before? It seems disappointingly ordinary as far as doors go, except for the fact that it's warm to the touch and feels like it's vibrating. Tried the handle, but it's locked.
When I got back to my register, I noticed a man in a trench coat standing outside beyond the gas pumps, just outside the reach of our lights, dangerously close to the road. I can't tell if he's looking at me or if he's looking past the building at the woods on the other side. I wish he wouldn't stand there like that, stoic and still, with his arms reaching down past his knees.
Then I hear a car honking as it speeds by, running him over. The scratching against the tiles on the ceiling over the counter is getting louder.
3:45. A man came into this... Oh, what were you saying?
I was going to say with the scratching, it sounds like tyrannids, but I don't know.
Nah, I'm pretty sure it's just Rico.
Probably.
3:45. A man came into the store rolling a large white ice chest behind him. He had sunken blue eyes, wiry hair coming from his nose and ears, long bony fingers, and paper-thin skin revealing every blue and green vein beneath the translucent dermis.
So he doesn't go outside.
Yeah, like Zane.
Yeah, I was about to say, that might have been me.
Do you have wiry nose and ear hair?
I usually cut it.
It was probably Future Zane.
He wore a bowler cap and smelled like milk.
Well, I do like milk, but I don't have a bowler cap anymore, at least.
I had definitely never seen him around before. He asked if I would be interested in partnering up with him. He sold ground meat at discount prices, but I told him that our store doesn't do so well with the fresh foods category, recommending he try his hand at making jerky. Before he left, he scooped out a pound or so of raw ground meat from the ice chest onto a piece of parchment paper and gave it to me as a sample. Once he had left, I took the meat to the cooler where I found another lawn gnome waiting for me. I put the gnome in the box with the other 7.
4 o'clock. Carlos just told me something very strange about Kiefer.
Yes.
I don't know if it's AM or PM because I usually do military.
Well, no, because this
It's
is
the night shift.
Yeah, this is also detailing the shift in which Carlos told him that Kiefer was dead.
Okay.
It kind of was something that was mentioned early on.
Yeah, okay.
4:30. There was a kid named Spencer Middleton who went to the same high school as me and Kiefer. Spencer was just a year ahead of me, but looked much older and acted much younger. Live in a small town, and small towns get bored. For entertainment, some turn to gossip, some turn to more sinister pastimes. The latter often fueled the former. There were rumors around town that Spencer liked to torture and kill animals. Rumor that Spencer's parents and siblings always locked their bedroom doors when they went to sleep at night. The rumors didn't slow down in any after the fire at Spencer's house, where Spencer was the only one to escape unscathed.
Well, that's concerning.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
I once saw Spencer gleefully stomp on a lizard, throw his head back, and laugh. Really concerning. I think Spencer's a serial killer.
Yeah, probably.
He's gonna become Carnage.
Oh, no. Some short time after his house caught fire for the second time, Spencer left town. The story went that he had gone off and joined the army. Oh, that's very concerning. I didn't know what to think about that, so I simply didn't think about that. And that sounds like the mentality of an employee.
That sounds like my mentality at most times.
I would have been perfectly happy to never think about that, but after all these years, I'm forced to, because Spencer Middleton just came into the store and bought a cup of coffee. He's sitting in one of the booths, talking to Kiefer.
Oh boy, he's talking to a dead man.
Marlborough is back. He asked if I could spare him some time to talk about his fake religion. They hate it when I call it a fake religion. I told him he had to leave. He seemed upset.
Now, we all know that the only true religion is that devoted to David Bowie's Bowie Bulge.
What?
That's an actual thing.
Okay.
At least it's not like the fucking Pastafarians where they just do it to be assholes. These people are just devoted to worshipping David Bowie's dick. Which is a very noble pursuit, in my opinion.
I'm really glad that I'm not famous, because it's too much of a hassle.
You don't want people worshipping your dick?
I don't want people doing anything like that. No,
Famous people don't have privacy.
exactly. That's
All
why
I'm
being
saying.
internet famous is better than being actual famous.
Yeah, until someone figures out your apartment number.
Yeah.
Eh.
Look, all I'm saying is that the one true religion is David Bowie's dick bulge. Anyway, Spencer and Kiefer sat around for a while and didn't talk about and didn't buy anything but 2 cups of coffee. When they finally left, I let Carlos know. He was hiding under a blanket in the walk-in cooler, although I can't really understand why.
Carlos explained to me exactly what happened. He finished his shift a couple of nights ago and had just left the gas station when he saw Kiefer's SUV pulled over in a ditch at the bottom of the hill. Carlos, being the good guy he is, decided to check and see if Kiefer needed any help. He says that when he pulled up and got out of the car, he could hear what sounded like a loud crunching noise coming from just beyond the tree line.
That sounds familiar.
Carlos went to investigate. That's when he saw something. When I asked Carlos what he saw, he just started speaking Spanish in a fast, panic sort of way. I don't speak Spanish, but I nodded along empathetically. The only word I could pick up was strega, which is the name of the liquor we carry.
Just a sec. Okay, I found Striga, which is a it's a Romanian vampire.
I see. It's also, let's see, the liquor they carry.
Yeah.
Well, yes, but that's not important for why he would be panicking.
Yes, it is.
Oh. Whatever it was that Carlos saw, probably a Strega, it made him race back to his car as fast as he could and back out quickly without looking. And that's when he ran over Kiefer.
Oh, I hate it when that happens. Carlos is a good guy, but here he was in a bad situation. He stopped long enough to get out, check on Kiefer, and confirm that he was definitely dead. There was nothing he could do that would change that fact. It was an accident. Carlos was on parole. There was that thing in the woods, and Carlos had to make a decision. So he heaved the body into the trunk of his car and drove off.
What else are you going to do?
Carlos took me to his car and showed me the body. I can confirm 100% that was Kiefer in the trunk of his car. Not just because of his unmistakable face, but also because his phone and wallet that were in his pockets.
If memory serves, Strega are capable of shape-shifting.
Interesting.
Yeah. 5 o'clock. I finally got tired of the scratching and pulled our ladder out of storage to see what the raccoons were doing in the ceiling, but when I pushed back the tile, the only thing up there was a gnome, and that makes 1 dozen so far.
6 o'clock. The man in the trench coat is still outside.
Gnomes!
Zane.
What?
Pay attention! Fuck's sake!
The cultist, right?
Yes.
Yes.
The cultist came back in, demanding an audience with me, insisting that if I would just listen to him, I would see that his reasoning is superb and flawless, and that I would be a fool not to join him in the perfection of logic and nirvana that is his belief structure.
This sounds like the last time a neckbeard hit on me.
Oh my.
I agreed to listen to his pitch if he would agree to ask the man in the trench coat to leave. Our hasty verbal contract in place, I steeled myself to listen. However, he did make a few good points, but I suppose that's to be expected from a viral thought experiment strong enough to convince perfectly normal people to abandon their real lives and go live in a commune in the woods past a shitty gas station on the edge of town.
They call themselves mathematists. Is that how you say that?
Mathematists.
Okay. They believe that humankind exists to fulfill 2 moral imperatives: to decrease suffering and to increase happiness. A successful life increases happiness more than suffering. A decent life decreases suffering more than happiness. How good a person is can be determined by the spread between the happiness increased and the suffering decreased. Obviously, if the individual has a negative spread, that is, if they've increased happiness less than they've increased suffering, or if they've decreased suffering less than they've decreased happiness, then that means very simply that the individual is bad. Therefore, if an individual causes a tremendous amount of happiness and suffering, one can simply determine which was higher and use the perfect rubric to determine whether that individual was good or bad. Simple, right?
What? The mathematists believe that the world has been going about good and bad in the wrong way. For eons, we've been attempting to increase happiness when instead we should have been focusing on decreasing suffering. As happiness is a fluid concept, and the more happiness you create, the harder it is to sustain. As happiness has a clear and self-diminishing return, suffering, however, is consistent. Suffering results from happiness coming to an end. Suffering is pure and eternal. For a mathematist to be supremely good, they must simply end all suffering. That's why the mathematists are working on a bomb to destroy the entire planet. Oh.
Yeah, that would do it.
That was an interesting thought experiment until it got to the bomb.
Well,
Yeah.
no, because it's the whole thing of like when they mentioned the ending suffering, my immediate thought was, okay, the end game is to end all of humanity.
Well, you are the Prince of Void, so
No, I'm the Prince of Space.
whatever. Void and space, aren't they the same thing?
No, they aren't, you fucking
They're
sycophant.
the opposites. What? Void
Okay.
is the nothing between the space.
Space is the fabric of reality.
Okay.
I am the destroyer of the fabric of reality.
Ah, there we go. Okay.
Christ.
And I'm me.
And I'm learning.
Are you?
Yes.
Knowledge is power.
Let's see. By ending all life on Earth, they end an infinity of suffering into the future. Yeah, that's basically how that works, yeah. With every life they avert, the entire lineage of people that would be born into a life of suffering will no longer. Every death is a preemptive mercy killing. Every happy moment that will no longer occur pales in the face of all the sad moments that are likewise prevented.
And so, as Marlborough explained, their murder cult believes that killing is a kindness.
This is an
So-
initiative I can get behind.
I told him that his ideas were stupid and he was stupid. And now he had to go tell the man in the trench coat to go away. Wow, your ideas are stupid. Go tell the guy in the trench coat to go away.
Well, that was part of the agreement. 6:30, the phone rang.
This is strange for two reasons. First, because it was not the landline. It was a cell phone, even though we do not get cell phone service way out here. And second, because it was the cell phone. The one that I took off of Kiefer's body.
Come on, Tom, one-syllable words, you can do this.
I'll admit, I was stuck in a bit of a moral quandary ever since Carlos confided in me. On one hand, Carlos had killed someone. On the other, it was an accident. Carlos' payroll officer may not see it that way.
Parole?
I thought I would have more time to figure this out. But when the cell phone started ringing, I knew I had to make a decision.
I answered it.
I didn't speak first. The voice on the other line was one I recognized.
You have something that belongs to my boss.
It was Spencer Middleton.
His cell phone in his wallet, I answered.
No, we don't care about that shit. We can buy more phones. We can get more wallets. You know what we want.
You skipped over Zane.
Oh. Oops.
What?
Alright, Zane gets next line. Well, if Zane had read it, we would have had to wait 5 minutes before he did.
He was right, I did.
Perfectly timed. So, do I read this line then?
Yes.
It was an accident, I explained.
We know. We want to make a deal. You give it back, and we pretend this whole thing didn't happen.
Can we do that?
Absolutely.
7:30. Carlos came in for his shift half an hour ago, and I explained the deal to him. He wasn't thrilled, but as I laid it out to him very clearly, he didn't have a choice.
We walked past Carlos's Camry behind the gas
Parked.
station. Parked, whatever. Near the growth of hand plants and made a point to stand far enough away to not get our ankles grabbed. Kiefer's SUV drove up a few minutes later. Spencer was driving. He and Kiefer got out without a word, sized up, and opened up the back of the vehicle.
Carlos popped his trunk.
Kiefer and I stared at each other, keeping eye contact the whole time while Carlos and Spencer transferred the body from one vehicle to the other. Spencer had a tarp and blanket ready to wrap everything up. When it was over, Kiefer put a hand on my shoulder and whispered in my ear, "You done good."
Then they left. Carlos started crying as I went back inside the store. It was almost daytime, and that's when the new part-timer was supposed to take over.
8 o'clock. The new part-timer is late and I'm overdue for a lunch break. I made the best of my extra time here by putting price stickers on all the lawn gnomes. We're ringing them up as miscellaneous grocery for $9.99 each, and I've already sold a couple. I'm a really good employee.
What else are you going to do with those?
I'd keep them, but I'm a hoarder, so.
I went to the bathroom and saw a man standing there with his jeans at his
What
ankles.
time did you do that?
He wore red and white checkered boxers and a cowboy hat. He smiled when he saw me and simply said in a somewhat sing-song voice, "Come on, man, come on with it," at 8:30.
I took the opportunity to ask him something that has been burning at the back of my mind.
Do you know, is everything going to be okay?
The bathroom cowboy took a second to think, then he pulled up his pants, fastened his enormous belt buckle, and walked past me, spurs turning against the bathroom tile. He stopped for a second when he was right next to me and said plainly, "I appreciate it." Then he left.
I honestly have no idea what that means.
He probably appreciated that you talked to him.
I'm just confused on why his spurs were churning against the bathroom tile instead of clinking.
It said clinking again. Oh, yeah. Okay. These are the entirety of the receipt paper notes, but I did make a point to continue keeping this journal. I think this will be a healthy way of chronicling the weird events at the gas station. Maybe this will even help with my condition. I don't know. The next time something strange happens, maybe I'll come back and write more. Until then, I guess this is to be continued.
Edits. Sorry, upon further inspection, I realized that some of the scribbles on the receipt paper may have been transcribed incorrectly. I also had made some adjustments to the spelling and fixed some typos while I was at it. I had another typo just for the observant reader. Lastly, upon the advice of some of my readers, I removed the part where I listed Farmer Jr.'s social security number and address. Also, special thanks to the reader that pointed out that strega isn't even a Spanish word.
It's Romanian.
I asked Carlos about it when he came in on his 4-shift day, but Carlos simply looked at me blankly and told me that he doesn't speak Spanish.
I think the typo was like a comma after a name. I remember that.
I don't know. I mean, if it was Zane reading it, we wouldn't have noticed.
Yeah.
He's adding like 50 spelling mistakes per reading.
Yeah.
Well, do you not read along as we're all reading?
Yeah.
Zane, he asked you a question.
I was asking both of you this. Do you not read?
I do read along.
Okay.
I don't.
That's why I pointed out the whole clinking versus churning thing.
You said churning rather than clinking, Zane. That's what he's getting at.
Okay.
You can't read, Zane. You're illiterate.
That's fine.
Why did I invite you to do a thing that involves reading, Zane?
You're right.
Why did I think
I'll
that would
just
be
go
a good
ahead and
idea,
leave now
Zane?
then. Bye.
Oh, god damn it. I swear if that fucks with the recording.
Yeah, it might not.
Alright.
Hi, Zane.
Break the recording.
By now you already know that there is a shitty gas station at the edge of our small town, and that weird things have been happening there. City Council has personally asked me to stop talking about it, as there have been some astute readers that not only track down our small town from the brief descriptions I've given, but actually come and visit me at work. I heard that one of them has joined the mathematists, and as far as I know, the other two are still missing. Once again, I am sorry.
I'm not working right now. It's the first legitimate break I've had since I first started writing my stories on receipt paper all that time ago. Time moves funny here, flowing slow and fast all at once, like molasses out of a shotgun. I mean, or just working retail.
I don't think most people are going to know how that feels, Tom.
Well, I can confirm it feels like time flowing slow and fast all at once.
Like molasses being shot out of a shotgun.
Yes. It's a good thing I've been keeping a journal. I've got a few moments before my laptop dies, and I think now would be the perfect time to transpose my journal entries, before the battery runs out or the blood loss gets me. Right now, it's a race to see what happens first.
For any of you worry, I've already called Tom. He said he's on his way here to give me a ride to the hospital, right after he picks up dinner for the Ledford orphans.
What the fuck?
I was about to get really confused. Oh boy. John, Ben,
confused.
and little sister. Tom and the other deputies have been taking turns checking in on bringing them food in an attempt to make the whole thing less tragic. They've been living on their own ever since the incident that totally did not happen, and anyone who says otherwise is a damn liar. What?
No, they've been living on their own ever since the incident that totally did not happen, and anyone who says otherwise is a damn liar.
So it didn't happen. There's no tragedy.
Officially, it did not happen.
That's stupid.
You
Okay.
do realize how cover-ups work, right, Zane?
Yes. But this is just confusing. I need more details.
It's not that it's confusing, it's that you're an idiot.
No.
Yes.
No.
He's not an idiot.
Well, he didn't understand that sentence. That was like the most clear as day thing I've ever seen.
I just want to know more about this incident that didn't happen.
Well, you're not going to find out because that's how cover-ups work.
Okay.
That's why you break into Area 51 and get arrested and put in jail for totally not 7 days.
Let's just kidnap Tom and force him to tell us what happened.
To the orphans. John,
Yeah.
Ben, and little sister. I swear, it almost sounds like this is a gas station outside of Night Vale.
It might be.
There I go again, off on another tangent. I guess I'll get to it and type up my journal entries while I still can.
November 2nd, 2017, 9 p.m. So much has happened here since the Halloween incident that we aren't allowed to talk about. I've been much busier than usual, dealing with the aftermath as well as the cult. The mathematists have been cleaning out our inventory on a daily basis, planning ahead for some kind of secret event that I only get to hear about in hushed mutterings and whispers.
Shit, I lost my place.
Well, if you paid attention...
Night is coming earlier.
Is it just that you stop paying attention when Tom's here? Because I swear we don't have this issue when it's just the two of us.
Well, then, because I have to read every other paragraph then. Night is coming earlier and the weather is getting colder.
November 3rd, 2017, 2 a.m. The man in the trench coat is back. He's standing just outside the gas station door, staring in. He's been there for almost an hour now. On the bright side, I haven't had a customer come in since he showed up. On the not-so-bright side, I can't help but feel like he's trying to put thoughts into my head. He won't be able to, though. I've had way too much practice.
I don't know, man. You keep digging a hole in the back.
He has a point.
Yeah.
Kiefer came in earlier today before the sun went down and sat in a booth drinking coffee for a while. Eventually, Spencer Middleton showed up. Spencer had a word with Kiefer, then came storming up to my register, screaming at the top of his lungs. He grabbed a display of Lotto scratch-offs and threw it across the room. It was obvious that something had upset him. That's when I took the earplugs out. A man after my own heart.
Well, yeah, that's how he was trying to keep thoughts from being put in his head.
Everything okay? I asked stupidly. I knew damn well everything was never okay.
Did you hear a word I just said? Spencer asked.
I explained to him that I had taken to wearing earplugs in an effort to drown out the sounds of screaming that periodically radiate through the air vents. I guess the screams must have stopped a while ago, or maybe I had imagined them. Either way, I didn't need the earplugs anymore.
At this point, Tom walked into the store, his white hair looking even more wider than usual.
There's not a more in there.
Oh.
Spencer, I could see, became instantly aware of the deputy's presence. Where is he? He half whispered, half growled. Where is the other one?
Carlos? I asked.
Spencer sighed. Sure. Carlos.
He's not due for another 20 minutes.
When he gets here, tell him we need to have a chat. With that, Spencer Middleton let out a shrill whistle and left the store. Kiefer jumped out of his seat and followed close behind.
Tom helped me pick up the mess that put the Lotto display.
Oh my god.
I can't read today.
Have you ever been able to?
It hasn't been this bad.
Alright, try again. You got this.
Tom helped me pick up the mess and put the Lotto display back together without asking a single question. I wish more people could be like Tom.
I have an idea. Let's read something that people are saying is good. The moment that happens... Christ. When Carlos got to work, he told... Am I still connected?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Everything went quiet and I got worried.
I'm actually enraptured in this story, so just continue.
And Zane's drifting off. When Carlos got to work, he told me that he was having strange dreams. Dreams of something enormous, living, breathing underground. The dream's always in the same way, with the gas station collapsed into a giant sinkhole. I told him Spencer was looking for him. That's when Carlos grew solemn and asked me if he could show me something.
In the freezer, behind a stack of boxes labeled "non a prior," whatever the hell that means. They've been here as long as I've worked here. There is a moving blanket, and inside that blanket is another kefir.
My first question for Carlos was, you stole the body back?
A prior means to open. So
Yeah,
non
so
a prior would be don't open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
French, probably.
Considering I didn't even look at what language it translated from. Anyway. He looked at the ground and shook his head sheepishly like a toddler that just got busted for cooking meth.
Excuse you?
You saying you've never had that situation?
Not with a toddler, no.
What is this analogy?
I love these analogies.
They're great. I'm not gonna lie. You killed another one? I asked.
Carlos explained. It was an accident. Again.
You see, another one jumped in front of my car. 3 a.m. The man in the trench coat is finally gone. He left claw marks on the glass of the front door. I checked the security footage and confirmed my suspicions. He always stays just outside the range of our cameras. Why can't I remember what his face looked like?
Probably illusion magic. 3:30 a.m. Marlborough was the first customer in the store after the man in the trench coat left. I told him that I was surprised he was still alive. He mistook this for a compliment and said, "Thank you." I asked him if he was ready for the big event, but then he just stared at me blankly. I could tell he had no idea what I was talking about, so I filled him in on how I had put it all together. The unusual cultist activity, the whispers, the buying up of all our supplies. I could tell that something was about to happen.
And that's how you get shot.
Yeah, I can definitely say that from experience.
Yes.
Marlboro went pale in the face as I was talking, then ran out of the gas station before I could finish. The 99-cent frozen drink still in his hand. I know I should write up an inventory loss slip for the theft, but I just can't bring myself to do it. As hard as it is to explain, there's just something about Marlboro that makes me genuinely feel sorry for him.
6 a.m. I got myself digging again. Wonder if that has anything to do with what Carlos said. I don't know how long I was up there or who was running the store while I was gone. The hole is so deep now I couldn't climb out on my own. I should maybe think about considering the possibility of asking a doctor if this is normal.
It's most certainly not normal. I can tell you that right now, and I'm not a doctor. 8 a.m. Marlborough is currently crying in the dry storage closet. Oh. Through his sobs, I could barely make out the story. Marlborough was sent on some kind of vision quest for the last week and has no idea what the other cultists had been stalking up.
Oh.
When he went back to the compound earlier tonight, he found the whole place completely deserted. Beds were left unmade. Some plates had food on them. A fire still burning in the fireplace. Everyone's clothes were still in their personal milk crates next to their sleeping bags. But the people, all of the people, were simply gone.
Did the rapture happen?
I think it's that they all offed themselves while he was out. Oh my god. Imagine being like a whole situation like with other cults, like with Heaven's Gate or whatever, where like they all killed themselves to get onto that comet, but there was one guy in the cult that nobody liked, so they sent him out on something and they all killed themselves while he was gone. Imagine that now.
That is like the worst, like, wow, people hate me realization.
They didn't even want me to kill myself with them.
Nobody's taking this very well. But I have business to run, so I asked Carlos to help me carry him into the dry storage area. Figured he could work through some stuff in there, and then maybe when he's done, he'll just, I don't know, go home.
The old vision quest trick. Yeah, go on a vision quest. It's an important part of your, like, climbing the ranks of our little cult thing. So, you know, just do that, and we'll be waiting for you when you get back.
Oh, that's a red flag right there.
Yes, but Marlborough's kind of an idiot.
Yeah.
I still feel sorry for him.
November 4th, 2017, 9 p.m. The exterminators just left. They say they got all the snakes this time, but I have my doubts.
November 5th, 2017, 5 p.m. Kiefer came into the store again today and made some thinly veiled threats. He asked about Carlos too, but I told him that I was tired of being the go-between and that if he had business with Carlos, he needed to take it up with Carlos. That's when Kiefer started getting weird. Started?
You know, this place is just a big experiment, and you're the little mouse.
Asked Kiefer to buy something or leave, so he bought a pack of toothpaste, then started to undress in the store and rub the toothpaste on his naked body.
Okay. Okay, now I understand what he meant. They tell me that something is wrong with your brain. Is that true?
Tried to be polite and averted my eyes as I answered, yeah.
You have some kind of mental condition.
I answered again. Yeah.
That's too bad.
I'm sorry, I'm just imagining the situation playing out. Like, a man just strips down and starts rubbing toothpaste on his body while asking you, there's something wrong with your brain, right?
Yeah.
At this point, Kiefer was completely naked. He walked over to the frozen drink machine and filled a large cup with the sugary red concoction before turning it upside down on top of his head. Then he shook himself violently like a wet dog, flinging bits of cold, sticky debris across everything from the ceiling to the walls to the sweat drip down my balls. Some of it even landing on my face, but I tried not to let him see my flinch. I knew that this was all just an attempt to intimidate me, and I didn't want to give him the satisfaction.
What is it exactly? He asked as he crossed back to where his pile of clothes waited for him.
What? I asked.
What is your condition? Schizophrenia, protonopia, meningitis, the gay.
The gay.
Kiefer, what the fuck?
No, I answered. I don't sleep.
You don't sleep? He sounded genuinely interested, like, ever?
You know, it only takes about 4 days of not sleeping at all to start hallucinating.
Interesting.
I can't fall asleep. I haven't slept a single day since high school. It's a rare genetic condition with no cure and no treatment, and one day it'll kill me. But until then, I handle the effects as best I can.
Kiefer nodded. That must be it. That must be why he can't reach you.
Why, who can't reach me?
The owl, you know, the
Hoot
one
hoot,
that
motherfucker.
gets to the center of a Tootsie Pop.
Mr. Sandman.
1, a 2, a 3.
3. Right then, Spencer came into the store. He threw a blanket around Kiefer and ushered him out to the waiting SUV. A moment later, he came back to the store and offered me $100 for the security tape from tonight.
I wonder what I'll spend my $100 on.
9:00 p.m. I was beginning to suspect something wasn't quite right in the store. I've been finding empty candy bar wrappers strewn about, security tapes mysteriously deleted, strange noises coming through the walls in the middle of the night when I should be alone. At least more strange noises than usual. At first, I assumed it was just the raccoons.
But now, I know the truth. Now I know that Marlboro has been living for here the last 2 days. Just walked out of the supply closet wearing a bathrobe, nodded to me as he grabbed a stick of meat jerky and went into the bathroom. It not even occurred to me that Marlboro never left. Where'd he get the bathrobe?
Probably from the bathroom cowboy.
For real.
Here you go, partner. Hands him a bathrobe.
You're looking a little chilly, partner.
Thanks, bathroom cowboy. No problem.
You're welcome, partner. Don't want you to catch your death in here. I mean, the air conditioning is so cold that you just might freeze.
Oh, that sounds like in any gas station ever. November 6, 2017, 4 a.m. It finally happened. I suppose it was only a matter of time. I know I should feel regret or shame or any of the other emotions that normal people feel after something like this happens, but all I feel is embarrassed.
Came to a couple hours ago with a shovel in my hand. I had been digging again, and this time I had made some serious progress. The hole was at least 7 feet deep. The steep walls made of loose red clay. It took me a while to realize that I was staring up into the inky black night, peppered with uncontrollable stars.
Uncountable.
When when some of the bigger celestials started to move, I realized that the stars were actually just the soulless red eyes of the mutant raccoon staring down at me over the edge of the hole, probably looking for food. Those shameless beggars. Fuck.
Christ. I chucked the shovel out of the hole, and that's when I heard it. The sound of a butcher's knife hitting a watermelon. Imagine the sound of a butcher's knife hitting a watermelon. Like a solid, wet thwack. Now imagine the watermelon gurgling and falling over like a sack of potatoes. Oh man, this metaphor has really gotten away from me.
When I climbed out of the hole, I saw the shovel standing upright, the business end firmly lodged inside the open chest wound of a still twitching Kiefer.
Oh god!
This poor guy is just accident prone. I think that's the problem here.
And there's more than one of him.
They clone him, and every time he meets an accidental death in just a ridiculous way. Zane.
The keeper was dead before I got to his side. In a final act of defiance, he had turned both of his middle fingers up to me. I felt the slightest amount of respect for him before he went into a mental state that I can only describe as subdued panic. The first thing I wanted to do was find something to wrap his body in because surely Spencer Millicent would come for it soon.
When I went into the gas station, I was surprised to find that Marlboro had taken upon himself to work the cash register while I was gone. He was ringing up one of our regulars, Charles, a great big fat man that always buys soap and boiled peanuts.
I know a guy like that.
Buys soap from gas stations?
No, that buys weird things like that, and I work at Walmart, so. I nabbed a tarp off the shelf and took it outside. And that's when I learned something. Kiefer is heavy, like really heavy. I understand that a human body is basically just a meaty, fleshy water balloon full of guts and excrement.
Yeah, pretty much.
But nothing could prepare me for how leaky and gross and heavy a dead man can be. It was only by some miracle that I managed to drag Kiefer through the back door and into the freezer without being seen. It took all of my strength to pull the mass behind the boxes and onto the stack with the other three. When I finally finished, I had worked up a sweat, and even the cold of the freezer wasn't enough to keep me cool. As I stood there letting my breath come back and adrenaline wear off, I took stock of my situation. That's when it dawned on me. There were 4 Kiefers in that freezer with me. 4 Kiefers. Where the hell did the other 2 come from?
The freezer door opened and Malbor entered, dragging a dead Kiefer by the legs. He stopped and made eye contact with me.
When I saw the Kiefers at my feet, I said the only thing I could think of.
Well, this is awkward.
Malbor had to...
I mean, what else would you say?
Let's keep going.
Malbor and I decided to open a bottle of Strega liqueur. Liquor, but I don't care. It looks like liqueur. And have a few drinks. He explained that he had accidentally killed Kiefer a couple times. I totally understood. The guy was just so easy to kill. At one point, Carlos came into the freezer to grab a box of cookie dough. He didn't even acknowledge all the Kiefers.
My laptop battery... Oh, nope, that's your line, Liam. Sorry.
My laptop battery is currently at 2%. It's obvious now that I won't have time to transcribe the rest of my journals before it dies. I don't have time to tell you I ended up at the bottom of this hole underneath the store with a broken leg, but I can tell you that I hear something moving around above me, which is good because I don't think I'm alone down here.
If you're reading this, it means I managed to upload my story. If you're not reading this, then I don't know, what even are you?
Someone just called my name from the top of the precipice. I think it was Carlos. I wonder what happened to Tom. Why didn't Tom ever show up?
Come to think of it, I seem to remember Tom didn't survive the Halloween incident. Wait, who the hell am I talking to this entire time?
I promise that if I survive long enough to recharge my battery, I will come back and tell the rest. Until then, I guess this story is to be continued.
Speaking of which, okay, this is unironically like the best thing we've read so far. Like this, well,
Yeah, this is a lot of fun.
I don't know whether or not this is better than Madame Macabre's Wolfbeard story.
I mean, it's kind of hard to compare the two because they're two kind of different genres, question mark.
I wasn't
this
there
is-
for Wolfbeard, so this is great.
This is kind of like a surreal humor horror type situation. Like,
Yeah, it's really good. Like, I'm enjoying this.
like
I just wish I could read it properly.
I was kind of getting something similar to like Night Vale vibes of like a whole thing of like just this horrifically weird situation, but it's been that way for so long that people are used to it.
Yeah, no, I love stories like that. It's like things that normal people would be freaking out about, and but it's just so normalized and everything. I don't know. It's
Yeah,
cool.
it's because
I like it.
it's like just part of their everyday and shit. Like, fuck, this has actually been pretty good so far. Like, yeah, so
Yeah.
Yeah, but like all good things, it must come to an end, like this podcast.
anyway, I'm Llytic.
I'm Tom.
And I'm not working at that gas station.
I wish I were. And we'll see you next time. This has been What Are We Reading? Bye.